last night, everybody wanted to see the Dallas Cowboys host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You and I both thought Dallas would win, even though we weren't really high on them going into the season. We did think they'd win and also going to win the NFC East.
And they, Chris, I'm just going to say this. They held to field goals. They were that was a game that they could have, if they could have generated any offense. I mean, Tampa Bay had to settle for all these field goals. That's a game you win. You hold Tampa Bay to one touchdown, you win that.
The defense was good. The defense is the only reason it wasn't a rout. Tampa was in the red zone 3 times, came away with 1 score.
Right.
You don't get that with Tom Brady much. And so you're right. I mean, the defense was fine. Micah Parsons was a man, and they are not to blame for that loss. But the offense, which was the best in the league, at least statistically last year, Rob, mustered 3 points and no touchdowns. They got beat 19-3. And to add insult, or I should say injury to insult,
yes.
Dak Prescott fractures his thumb on his right hand, will have surgery, or maybe he already had it today, surgery today, and will be out. Has it changed, Rob? 6 to 8 weeks? 6 to 8 weeks. So, Rob Parker, the floor is yours.
Chris, I'm got to be honest, after watching that, and of course, I'm not talking about the injury and what happened to Dak. That's a shame. You hate to see athletes get hurt. But I got to tell you, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys and I'm the brain trust or Jerry Jones and the family who runs the corner store or whatever you want to call them, I'm done with Dak Prescott. Chris, I'm done. I'm out on Dak, and I'm not saying he can't play in the league.
Well, you've always been out on Dak,
but I'm further out than I've ever been.
Are you saying the Cowboys should move on?
Yes. If I could find somebody else once he gets back or whatever you want to do, but Chris, the last 2 games we've seen him. Don't you remember the offense against San Francisco in the playoff game? It was god awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. And last night, awful. I'm not saying it's all his fault, but the offense isn't good enough. I mean, even you, who are a Dak guy, backed off the idea that he was on the road to being elite. Because you saw it too, and you felt like, okay, there's something missing. All I'm saying is he might be a serviceable quarterback going forward, Chris, but I don't think he's that guy to get you there when he has to carry the load. I'm not saying he couldn't be on a team that has a great defense, you know what I mean, and all they need you to do is not make mistakes.
Right.
But I'm talking about when you're short and they need you to lead the team and put it on your back and get you there. I'm out on Dak Prescott. I don't think he could do it. Last night, is it a crime to lose to Tampa Bay? No. They weren't favorite. Tampa Bay was favorite. Right. No. But to put in another piss-poor performance like we saw in the playoffs and last night at home, I can't do it anymore. I'm done.
Well, for the record, last night, 14 for 29. No, I'm sorry. Last night, 14 for 29, 134 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Well, Rob, I'm not going to say I'm done with Dak Prescott if I'm the Dallas Cowboys. But I do echo some of the points you've made. And you said I was a Dak guy.
No, I mean, you thought, right.
Yeah,
right.
From the beginning, and we both were on the air with Brian Noe, Dak's rookie year was when we were on the air with him. And he was really down on Dak. And I like Dak. And I used to say Dak is a game manager. I never went, he's the next, Aaron Rodgers. He's the next Tom Brady.
Right.
He's this or that. But I thought he was a game manager with great intangibles who could also make plays. Like, he's a game manager that can make a big play for you here or there when you need it and help a team win. And I did think, especially last year, that he could grow into being elite. But where I'm with you, Rob, is that I don't think that's the case anymore. I think he is still a game manager, not a pedestrian game manager, but a game manager who can make a play with his legs, with his arm here or there. But he is not an elite quarterback. And you said it, Rob. If you need him to carry you,
right,
like a Aaron Rodgers carries the Packers, like a Patrick Mahomes carries the Chiefs, like Tom Brady has obviously carried teams. He ain't the one.
He can't do it, Chris.
He ain't the one. Yep. So you look, when he was on his rookie contract, Rob, that's when they were a threat. I mean, they never really been a serious threat, right? They still aren't getting deep in the playoffs, but you had the great running back in Ezekiel Elliott. You had the great offensive line. The defense
they had
was
everything.
Pretty good. And that was when they were good, right? Now they let Amari Cooper go. And I'm not saying he's, a Hall of Famer, but he was their best receiver.
He's gone now, right?
Yeah, and he's gone because Dak got so much money. And now they could have probably kept him, but they're worried about finances. And that's what happens, Rob, when you pay your quarterback big money, and teams better recognize this because they're giving just pretty good quarterbacks huge money.
Right.
That means you can't build around them.
It's got to be.
You better make sure that boy is bad if you give him that $40-50 million.
He's got to be able to carry you, Chris, when you're shorthanded, when you don't have all your weapons and you don't have all that stuff.
Right.
If he can't do it, it's going to wind up being a waste. And I'm just basing it off the last 2 games I've seen from Dak. That playoff game was awful, and last night was another cup of awful. If you're a Cowboys fan, how do you feel good going forward? And I'm not saying he'll be back and he'll be able to play, but if I had a chance to, draft the next quarterback for the Cowboys or make a move and go get somebody who I really feel will give you a better shot, especially, Chris, you talked about the defense last night. But you held Tom Brady and them to 4 field goals and a touchdown.
Right.
At home, that's a win.
Yep,
Chris, that's a win.
It should be. I mean, last year they scored 29 points on Tampa Bay.
Right.
But they gave up 31. No, you're right. Look, getting rid of Dak, there's some school of thought out there, let the season go to waste. Don't start Cooper Rush. Don't try to upgrade. Let it go to now. This is a draft where Bryce Young from Alabama, C.J. Stroud from Ohio State, some other good quarterbacks. I don't know. I'm not saying I would definitely take a quarterback if indeed the season went to waste, but I certainly look at some receivers too. They could upgrade in other places, but look, Dak will be back in 6 to 8 weeks. Here's it ultimately, Ryan. We didn't even get to this because we've been talking about Dak. The season's over. I hate to say it, Cowboys fans.
I know, 1 week.
We both picked them to win the NFC. It's over for Dallas. Dude, they looked horrible with Dak.
That's what I'm saying. And now they're not going to have him.
Look like a joke.
Right.
Without him, what the heck are the next 6-7 weeks going to look like?
I know one thing. Shekel City bet against the Cowboys every week. I'm telling you that.
Rob is done. Out. Finito on Russell Wilson.
No,
I got the game on, obviously, or about to start the game. But on Dak Prescott, where were you on Dallas's QB?
All right, let's kick it off. Is that Andres? Andres in Washington. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah, I'm over Dak as well. I've been screaming at my TV for over 25 years for Dallas to get their things right.
How old are you?
I'm 37.
Yeah, you see, you really haven't seen. I guess you were young. You got to see some of that last dynasty they had.
Yeah, but, I saw a little bit, and I'm waiting for the next dynasty to come, but they just keep getting in their own way. And after last season, I was over Dak. They were blaming coaching, they were blaming this, they were blaming that, but they never blamed Dak. Dak's,
So when you say you're over, are you ready to move on to another quarterback?
Yeah, I would definitely. I mean, if it's next year or maybe they do a move to maybe get like Garoppolo or another quarterback.
Why? So you like Garoppolo better than Dak?
Oh yeah, like
wow.
I mean, he went
not there.
Dallas.
Where you at on that, Rob?
Yeah,
I think Dak is better than Garoppolo. Now Garoppolo, Rob and I both like him because he's won, but I do think Dak's better than him.
Yeah, it depends on what my options are, Chris. You know what I mean? If I had a chance to do something, I just think with where the Cowboys are, with their future, with their money situation, they need somebody who can do a little bit more than Dak can.
Yeah, I agree. And Jimmy's not that guy.
No, either. But somebody else. Will in Wisconsin, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What up, Will?
What's going on, gentlemen? And great, Chris. Great trailing question at the end of that last caller's call. I would say this. I'm over Dak with being the centerpiece and being called the best offensive player on Dallas. And with the quarterback, right?
Now, I say this. If you take out Tyron Smith, who is the best offense? I think he still probably is the best offensive player on that team, which ain't saying much. That's how bad they are.
Right.
I mean, really, you know?
And with the quarterback, right, it's like, okay, what is his upside? Is it multiple championships or just one championship? And then you compare his talent against people who have won that, and then you see what you have left to see what you have to put around them. Now, I'm not one to just talk, about players, but I do believe that Dak Prescott is at least or a little bit more talented than Trent Dilfer and Nick Foles.
Right,
and Brad Johnson.
Well, yeah, he's a Trent Dilfer who, like I said, can make more plays.
But Trent Dilfer had one of the greatest games, Chris. Right. He made every throw in that Super Bowl. He outdueled Tom Brady in a shootout. I mean, let's just be honest. And Trent Dilfer just didn't make any mistakes. You know what I mean? Right, or Brad Johnson. Those guys had the greatest defenses around them. All they had to do, game managers. Don't mess it up. Don't turn the ball over. Let's squeeze in one more.
And Dilfer, Rob, in his Super Bowl, 153 yards.
That's all he needed from him. They didn't need anything. Right. Nolan in Indianapolis. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What up, Nolan?
How you boys doing?
Doing good.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I think you guys are crazy. Dak Prescott is the next Tom Brady. He's got 10 Super Bowls left in him.
Oh, stop it. Well,
I
get you're being funny with the 10 Super Bowls.
Right. Sarcasm?
Okay, I was about to say.
He's garbage. He's done. Okay. He's been done.
Okay.
Injury bug. You got to get him out of town.
All right. Appreciate it.
Okay, look.
We got more from
the rest
Sacramento.
Of the callers,
I want to hear
though,
one more.
It's one thing to say you're done with Dak.
Right.
Who you replace it? Like, are you saying let's just let the season fall apart and try to get a high draft pick and draft the next quarterback? Are you trying to trade Dak because he's tradable, or what? Like, what's the alternative? Because that's my thing, Rob. He's what? Probably he's a top 15 quarterback.
Yes.
He's 12, whatever, 13, something like that.
Yep. All right, let's go. Mark in Sacramento. Let's squeeze him in before the update, Chris. Mark, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, Mark?
Real quick. Okay, real quick. I think it's finally happened. I think the over-publication of the Cowboys, putting them up there so high, you put him up there on something he wasn't. I think what you're seeing is what he really is. And at the same time, the Dallas Cowboys team got old. The offensive line got old. Zeke got old. The whole process started to happen at the same time. You started to see what Dak really is. I think he's a good quarterback. I never thought he was that next whatever. I just think that Dallas Cowboy hype machine was out of control for a few years. Now you're starting to see what he really is. I just think this is what he is.
Very fair.
That is fair, Mark. Because
Romo, Rob, wouldn't you argue Romo was overrated as well?
Yes, he was another one. Yes, he was another one. And we get the Cowboy marketing, and they're out front, and they sell the most jerseys. I get all that. They get all the attention. But and no one's saying, Chris, like it's the end of the world if they lost to the Bucs and Tom Brady. That's not it.
Right.
It's just that the offense was god-awful again.
You couldn't even put up a fight because you couldn't muster anything.
At home?
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, when they lost to the 49ers, I don't think Jimmy G had a touchdown. and they lost that game.
No, it wasn't.
Am I right?
You're right. They didn't. Jimmy G didn't light the world,
and
on
they couldn't
fire in that game.
win.
Yep.